As of late, I've noticed that there seems to be quite a toxic atmosphere around this community. I want to make this video to address it and talk about it and see if there's any kind of way to resolve it or move ahead from it. Now, of course, YouTube is infamous for toxic comments. I've been reading the last few videos' comments and they are pretty toxic, but you know, it's the kind of videos I make, that kind of stuff will attract those kinds of comments. But after reading the comments on my previous video, which was an Overwatch gaming video, I was really just disgusted to see the kind of stuff that was on there. For those of you that don't know, I made a gaming video yesterday with 3 friends, Eli, Riley, and Hyojin. All we did was play some Overwatch, do a few skits, just general funny stuff. Funny with huge quotation marks. Now, I totally understand that gaming videos aren't for everyone, and I think the majority do prefer to see facecam videos where I talk about commentaries and trending stuff. They prefer that over gameplay videos, which is totally fine. If that's your preference, I'll try to make that more the norm. But the comments and the overall atmosphere on that particular video, it was just really horrible to witness. One of my friends in the video, Hyojin in particular, was being targeted by a lot of people saying really horrible, demeaning shit. I'm not going to show any of the comments solely because the people that have said this stuff probably want the attention, so showing their names and what they've said is probably on the right path to them getting what they want, so I won't be doing that. Hyojin in the video was really enthusiastic and really outgoing, and she was laughing a shit ton. Obviously, her mic was quite shit in the video. If you couldn't tell, it was like a webcam mic. So whenever she was laughing, there was some kind of like audio clipping and stuff. Some people could make through the video and just kind of ignore that, but other people had to make it really fucking apparent they despised this video because of this girl's laughing. Now, a lot of people were commenting saying it was an annoyance, which is fine. You know, there's no problem with that. If it's an annoyance, please comment it, because now I'm aware and I'll be able to fix that for future videos. But then some people were going the extra mile and saying really horrible shit about her, saying stuff like she's only relevant because of me, and then saying really sexist stuff like she's unfunny because she's a woman. I don't want to sound like some fucking humongous social justice warrior, but the comments started to go from broad hate to singling out this one girl, and that's fucked. That's horrible. That's targeted harassment. It went from 1 or 2 people saying questionably funny quips to just this whole like herd mentality of people piling in, and I had to ban a few people because what they were saying was just really fucking horrible to read. But the problem is, by doing that, you create a power vacuum, and 5 minutes later someone else will regurgitate what the fucking banned person said and then get a bunch of likes and comments as well. I talked to Hyojin privately and she was clearly affected by it because it was pretty much targeted harassment. But then on top of that, some people chose to go directly onto Hyojin's channel, insult her appearance, saying how she's a bitch, she's all this horrible stuff, and she had to private some videos showing her face. She didn't feel comfortable because her channel was essentially being raided. Now, I can imagine a lot of people pointing out that what I'm saying is total hypocrisy.
But Pyro, that's what you do.
I make videos on people, and after I make the video, they get hate, but to those that don't know, I put a disclaimer in the description and I make it apparent through multiple videos, do not hate on this person. What I do is a joke. I try to mock what the person's doing instead of their appearance. It's really fucked up to see how this gaming video could take such a dark turn. It was just, you know, funny moments, friends getting together. If you didn't enjoy the video, that is totally fine. I'm not saying I'm immune to criticism. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike and comment why. I'd much prefer you to leave critique instead of disliking, because disliking doesn't really give me much guidance on what I've done wrong. Now, to reiterate, I totally understand that the YouTube comments are, for the majority, extremely toxic, passive-aggressive, and especially with the kinds of videos I do, where I usually talk about someone in a negative light, critiquing them. But this video, it just got really out of control. The stuff that was being said to Hyojin was just way out of line. It was horrible stuff. And beyond that, people going onto her channel to attack her directly. People were commenting these massive paragraphs just critiquing all of her content in a really unfair way. Horrible stuff, and she was just really emotionally drained from it, and I felt fucking bad. I felt so guilty. I was like, oh my god, I better take this video down. This isn't right. She's being harassed by all these people. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking I should have just ignored it. ban the people who moved on. But like I said earlier, there was this power vacuum effect. Whenever you ban someone trying to be edgy, 3 more people will come in with the exact same quip trying to get upvotes and comments. What I do want to say is as well, a fair few people were actually like complimenting Hyojin and the others, saying it was a good video, and it doesn't matter whether that was genuine or not, because it was really needed to drown out the amount of just cancerous, toxic, harassing comments, because that's what they were, straight up harassment. There was no critiquing or criticizing, it was just people saying shit really negatively. Now, I can understand where people are coming from, and I don't want to come across as some white knight SJW or anything. We're all a bit dickish online. There's no filter compared to real life. You know, you say what you see. You don't really think before and after in most cases. But the sheer amount of people criticizing Hyojin, and some of them being straight up hateful to her, was really disgusting. So I felt like I had to make this video instead of making it like a Facebook or Twitter post. Like I said, when I make a video on an individual, I try to judge what they're doing, not the individual themselves. I don't pull up a picture of them and go, look at this ugly fuck, he should go kill himself. Because that's not funny. There's no substance to that. It's just really harassing words. All you're going to do is make the kid on the receiving end feel like shit. I hope that clarifies on what's going on. If everyone could just show a bit more respect to each other, that would be great. Obviously, these words coming from Pyrocynical don't hold much weight to them, but hopefully you can see where I'm coming from to some extent. In most cases, it's just think before you speak. If you want to leave some genuine criticism, leave some genuine criticism. If you want to leave some hateful, derogatory shit, then just leave a dislike and go watch another video. It's as simple as that. Me personally, I'm fine to being criticised, you know, fat lesbian jokes, all that stuff. I'm fine with it because that's the community I've created with my videos. I can't criticise people and then say, I'm not allowed to be criticised, because I'd be a total hypocrite. Criticise me all you want, but going after other people I've featured in my videos and then attacking them on a personal level is not right, whether it's a friend or whether it's someone I've made a video on. There's definitely a fine line between criticising someone and straight up harassment. I understand that my channel can come off as extremely toxic. I understand that totally, and like I said, if you want to criticise me or make fun of my appearance, go for it. But just because you've got the green flag to attack Pyrocynical doesn't mean you can then go to other people's channels and attack them. Again, whether that's a friend or that's someone I've made a video on, it really doesn't matter. The disclaimer I put before linking the sources in the description clearly says what I'm doing is a joke. So you can criticize them yourself, totally go for it. But attacking their appearance or anything on a personal level, it's just not right. And to address, I'm sure I've slipped up in the past. I'm sure I've poked fun at someone's appearance in a fucking 5-month-old video when I first made commentaries and I was unfunny and cringy as fuck and I didn't know anything to talk about. But my content has changed since then. I talk about other things. I talk about criticizing content, people's content, what they produce, not them themselves. I don't want to come across like this is some fucking PSA for drink driving or something and you've got to respect your elders. If you want to shit talk someone or do something, then go for it. But you need to understand that there is a line to an extent. A very grey line, definitely. But there is still a line in the sand, and a lot of people do tend to step over it, myself included. Again, going back to the whole anonymous commenting thing, a lot of people will say things with no filter. In real life, if you say something to someone, you'll usually think, what will they do if I say that? How will they react? But online, they're never going to meet you. You'll never find this person. So you can say whatever you want, pretty much conscience free. The problem is, it's a vicious cycle, right? One person will comment something witty or edgy, and then people will be like, oh, I like that. I like that that did well. Maybe if I replicate that or straight up fucking copy it word for word, I'll do well and I'll get a little bit of e-fame. So then the comments devolve into a complete circle jerk of people regurgitating each other's one-liners, and because it's the internet, if this is aimed at a specific individual, people don't care. Their moral compass doesn't kick in and they don't think, oh wait, maybe we shouldn't say that about that individual. That might actually be, you know, harmful to them. It's really hard to articulate this video without coming across as a total hypocrite, because I've made videos on people in the past, but In a sense, I guess there is a fine line, because circle jerks as a whole are the worst fucking thing the internet has ever created. And with a circle jerk, you can actually make Hitler look like a commendable man if enough people are attacking him all at once. Do you guys remember that really shitty Xbox game 1 vs 100? I hope you didn't, but if you did, that's essentially what a circle jerk is. A really shitty, unbroken mess where everyone is just copying each other in an attempt to get likes. It actually reached the point where I saw a fair few people saying horrible shit towards Hyojin and other people within the video, and then they realized they didn't get any likes, so they would actually delete their own comment and repost it themselves a couple seconds later. So it was nothing, what they were saying was empty words, they didn't mean it, but the fact that they didn't care about what they were saying and they were only doing it for likes is just as bad, if not worse. Now again, to repeat, I'm trying as hard as I can to not come across as a fucking SJW.
You can't talk shit online. That's rude.
You know, if you want to talk smack to someone online, that's totally fine. But when other people start joining in and it becomes a circle jerk, you just need to think for a second, maybe I should stop. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I'm going to conclude the video. If any of you took in anything I've said, it's really appreciated. It's just simply thinking before you speak, and people being edgy, it's just not needed at all. You're adding nothing to the conversation. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I'll hopefully upload another video in the next few days.